Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the northeast corner of the map, playing in yellow, we've got Valdemar playing as the Japanese, and his opponent in the southwest playing in blue, we've got Recon playing as the Jeanne d'Arc faction. Welcome everyone to Gorge. That is the map for today, featuring 2 new civilizations from the Sultan's Ascent DLC. And I'm pretty excited about this one. I think both civilizations are in a good spot, the Japanese slowly being figured out. Especially with 2 towns to play, can be quite strong, but also 1 town to play. I feel like the Japanese can be very flexible. Got lots of options to them, definitely lots of unique units. The Jeanne d'Arc play very similar to the French, but of course they have Jeanne d'Arc that, she's starting her journey as a hero, as a humble peasant. But it's going to be able to build faster. Going to be able to help her fellow comrades to build faster as well when she does get to level 2, I believe it is. On this one, yeah, level 2. And she's going to be starting a long journey forward into choosing a military route. Maybe she becomes a hunter. Maybe she becomes a woman at arms. We'll have to see. The Japanese, they definitely know their infantry well, and especially with the samurai getting access to them in the feud age. It's going to be the Cura storehouse landmark of choice here for Valdemar and his Japanese. No real surprises there. It's a very strong landmark. Getting free farms. What's not to like about free farms? It's going to be the school of cavalry for Jeanne d'Arc. No real surprises there. Going to be getting a French... well, I guess French Royal Knight, we can call him still, on the map quickly and maybe looking to do some damage. Now, second town centre has been an option for the Japanese in many ways, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on the cards here. It'd be pretty risky against the French Royal Knights. He's transitioning onto wood. No village on stone just yet. Now, you might be wondering, how does he have 21 stone, Valdemar? But it's because the Japanese, when they mine gold, they actually get a bit of gold, better stone as well, and vice versa. So when you get 10 gold, you get 2 stone. If you get 10 stone, you get 2 gold. Nice little bit of an economy boost for them. Now, only keeping 2 villages on gold there, Recon, so maybe you're only looking to get 1 Royal Knight out. And then maybe looking to get economy, maybe a second town center, maybe a fast archery range. We'll have to see. Now, the Jeanne d'Arc faction does have a good tempo aggression in many ways. In many ways stronger than the French, actually, because of the fact that they have Jeanne d'Arc assisting as well, and often the natural counter to the French Royal Knight would be Spearman, but Jeanne d'Arc, if she does go for the ranged option, if she becomes a hunter, that she does have a divine arrow ability that deals out 40 damage. That can dish out a lot of damage on the Spearman. Obviously too early to tell if that's going to be the play. Now, Jeanne d'Arc does have some interesting mechanics in the Castle Age. She can actually activate Sacred Sites, which I think is actually really strong, because the thing is, when you do get the Castle Age, a lot of civilizations, they don't have scholars or monks ready, right? A couple of, obviously, civilizations do, like the Delhi Sultanate. They can get their mass scholars early. The HRE can get some prelates out as well sometimes. But Jeanne d'Arc, she can get the sacred sites herself. She can't pick up the relics, but you can get a nice bit of gold trickle in, especially if you've got map control, map positioning, which Jeanne d'Arc often would do at that stage of the game. 4 villages on gold actually maybe demonstrates that maybe he will go for a second night afterwards. And she's back gathering food. The Japanese opening up with a stable, looking to get a couple of horsemen on the field, and maybe look to get some raiding in nice and early. Would be expecting to see a barracks though. Pretty surprised not to see that just yet there for Valdemar. Could be prone to attacks from the Royal Knights if Recon does decide to send them out. Hasn't decided to send them out just yet. Maybe looking to scout what's going on. Where is this scout? That's the question. Let's take a look on that. Yeah, heading back now. I mean, did he see the stable? Yeah, I think he saw... actually, I'm not sure if he saw the stable. It's going to be a second night coming out. And he's going to get double broad axe. So certainly going to be looking to get a transition into some spearmen as well. So he's going to play for knights and spearmen. It's an interesting combination, especially because of the fact that samurai could be on the field. Of course, the knights will do well against them. There we are, spearmen. It's going to be spearmen horsemen for the Japanese, and looks like it's going to be knight spearmen for Recon. Now, Jeanne d'Arc has become a woman at arms, so she will have the Holy Wrath ability. That's going to cause all sorts of trouble against mass infantry, which it looks like Valdemar is going for with the barracks. Does deny that outpost with the horseman, but knight will get in position. Recon playing this pretty defensively, all things considered. Going to be charging in with the knight. Isn't going to quite get there. Recon going to get a spearman. Going Going to get the hardened upgrade as well. And yeah, there's not too much damage that Valdemar can get out of this remaining. And so now with the outpost securing the gold, he should be quite happy to contest the middle of the map and head out. And that's exactly what he's going to do. See if he can get some value. Now with the free farms, it does offer a very nice farming transition for Valdemar and the Japanese. Because of that, they can play a relatively condensed economy. It doesn't have to venture out too much. And I think generally, in many ways, the Japanese could be a good civilization to play against the French, right? Because the one thing you're worried about is the French knights or Jeanne d'Arc's knights harassing your economy. But if your economy is all quite close to your town centre, it should be fine. Going to be getting some palisades as well, just to protect that wood line. Not a bad move indeed. Heading out with a couple of horsemen, a couple of spearmen as well, and does have the military lead, 12 military numbers versus 6. You've got to always factor in Jeanne d'Arc waving a trusty sword. 225 health, 10 mace damage, and just to give that a bit of context, if you take a look at a knight, Jeanne d'Arc actually has more health than a French or, a royal knight in the feudal age. Doesn't quite have the damage output, but she's a strong lady. Knights moving forward with the scout. Just get the extra vision. Maybe look to harass that gold vein potentially. We'll see. There's no villagers there to harass, but maybe the wood line is next. Gonna go for the boar. That'll be gaining XP, but more importantly, gonna be accessing that free food with the villagers as well. Now the woman at arms. Oh, that's a problem for Recon. He has to back away. He can't take that fight. The horseman getting involved does use the Holy Wrath ability to take out the boar. Gets that 50 XP, but it's going to lose a villager. And don't forget the French or the Jeanne d'Arc faction don't get faster working town centres. Has to back away with his knights as well in the end. Does lose a lot of those villagers in the end. A couple of spearmen and archers. Going to possibly push this away, but he might try and snap another villager. Does back away for now. Oh, that's a bit bad pathing around the berries. Well, that's rough of Valdemar. He's going to lose a couple of units on the retreat. Or at least a lot of HP at least. Knights might try and charge that for Recon to try and catch up a little bit. Doesn't quite manage to get there though. Does get one of them. Now behind this, Valdemar did get some value out of that. We're getting some... Wait, Valdemar? Okay, he spotted it in the end. A good thing for Valdemar, by being aggressive like this, the Jeanne d'Arc faction does need to rely on pocket economies. Like, ideally he'd be out on berries, or on deer camp, rather, and maybe even the boar, but he hasn't been able to. Because of that Japanese aggression, right? It's really fueled by these free farms. It really does add up, right? You don't need that wood income on this, and it just focus on pumping out units. As you can see, it's a lot of production buildings, guys. Stable barracks, double archery range. Yumi Ashigaru could come out in large numbers for the Japanese, and they scale quite well. They're quick to produce and cheap to produce as well. Take a look at this. 35 wood, 30 food. Only 13 seconds. There is actually a way to increase that as well with the Yorishiro. In the Castle Age, going for the Shinto priest, or Shinto shrine rather, I should say. You can get Shinto priests and deposit the Yorishiro in buildings, whether it be production buildings, increase the production speed by 200%. Can also put it in gorge and forges rather to get extra gold. Lumber camps to get extra wood. You name it, you can do it. Town centre as well to make the town centres more efficient. Villagers coming out to the deer camp, but again being harassed by the horseman. The horseman going to back off. Does use the Holy Wrath ability there, Jeanne, but doesn't get all that much value from them. The horseman weren't there to be taken. Spearmen are going to be trying to focus on the horseman as best they can, but the horseman for the Japanese going to focus on the archers. Not many of them survive, and all of a sudden, I think the Japanese Yumi Ashigaru dealing out a lot of damage. If they can take out the spearmen, that will allow the horsemen to really get involved. But there are Royal Knights there. I think the Japanese do have to back away. Jeanne d'Arc leading her army. The trouble is the Royal Knights, right? That's the real concern. There's no spearmen here. Take care of them. Yumi Ashigaru are going to try and trade as best they can. Holy Wrath ability comes again there for Jeanne d'Arc, getting more XP. Overall, okay there for Recon, I think, because every engagement that happens like this, Jeanne d'Arc does get experience, right? And she's healing herself up too. It looks like Valdemar saving up some stone for the Daimyo Manor. But he's being pushed back. He might need to sacrifice a unit or two. He does sacrifice a spearman, and Recon are going to head back for now, but the Daimyo Manor are going to be coming in soon, no doubt. Or it's going to be a second town centre. No, it's not going to be a second town centre. It doesn't have the wood for it. It's just investing in another barracks, so Very unlikely. The Daimyo Manor, very strong. It's going to be increasing an additional arrow slick, also giving an extra villager, but also, my personal favourite, increasing the efficiency of farms, the gather rate, by 25%. I would like to see that lumber camp just placed here a little bit later in the game. Maybe just place a farm there. In fact, the farm would come out for free. But one thing to bear in mind, by the way, if the landmark can't actually build a farm, it gathers you wood as well. So you can see 34 wood per minute coming in from the Cura storehouse. And there's the Daimyo Manor. Now, all of a sudden, finally, Jeanne d'Arc and Recon is going to be able to go out into the deer camp. And on the boar on the south. And so Recon is establishing his presence on the map, has actually been able to consecrate the buildings. Now, if you're wondering what that is, it's actually an ability for Jeanne d'Arc. Going to be making the food cost cheaper for these units in the School of Cavalry and the barracks, which is quite significant. Because spearmen are very expensive. Only going to be costing him 45 food now. And the Royal Knight only going to cost him 105 food. There is actually an upgrade though for Jeanne d'Arc that you can then also decrease the cost in terms of wood and gold for the other buildings and the other units. Well, all the buildings and all the units that are consecrated. Recon starting to wall up on Gorge, protecting that left side. Behind this, what are the Japanese up to? Just massing up units, getting Tawara, getting a bannerman as well. Just to boost up the Yumi Ashigaru. Getting an outpost. And looking to even get the second upgrade to the Daimyo Palace, it seems. Now, I do like Tawara. I consider it sort of like a baby wheelbarrow for the Japanese. And they can get Tekizaku as well, which I think he is now looking to get. That's actually Tatara. So he's going to get the additional melee damage. One thing to note with the Japanese, by the way. Throughout all 3 ages, they actually have access to 4 melee attacks, where the other civilizations only have access to 3. So clearly a very heavily infantry-based melee attack unit composition for the Japanese can work quite well. Does have quite a few spearmen with the bannerman and the Yumi Ashigaru on the back. Could be a good engagement here, definitely with the spearmen. Or Recon loses a knight there for very cheap. Doesn't yet have chivalry. He's going to push this back though with a number of archers. That's a decent number of archers in line formation, trying to get it close and personal. Jeanne d'Arc is chasing behind. Double broadaxe coming in. A little bit later to the eco upgrades, Valdemar, compared to Recon. But pretty even at the moment. The thing for this matchup though is the Japanese can really start to pump out units quickly. Does now have the Daimyo Palace, so it's going to be a 50% bonus in terms of the harvest rate on these farms. And more farms are coming. The reason why I love this matchup is because both civilizations, they do lend themselves well to one town center play, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Both players playing it a little bit tentatively though. And we see Jean's champions being drafted in. These guys are heavy hitters. 175 health, but 15 melee damage. But they get +8 versus spearmen. Which is very, very nice. So Jeanne d'Arc has leveled up. She's become a knight, and she can get the sacred sites now. Well, not yet actually. When she's in the castle age at least. Just going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. Speaking of which, let's switch over to the resources per minute. You see, maybe Recon fancying his chances here to be aggressive. Got to be careful, right? The defender's advantage, I think, for the Japanese is going to be very strong because of obviously how much they can produce and how quickly they can. That can really snowball things. I feel like the Japanese are a very hard civilization to kill off, right? Because of the fact that the HP is increased with the Daimyo Palace. Take a look at that. 10,000 HP on that guy, and if he upgrades it to the Shogunate Castle, it's going to have a rocket damage on it. It's going to have extra arrow slits. It's already got 3 arrow slits, right? The English Town Center has 2 arrow slits, and you can imagine how much damage the English Town Center does. But this is going to be an absolute beefcake with the extra HP and damage it puts out. Getting the remainder of the blacksmith upgrades here, Recon. I think for the Japanese, the upgrades are not showing on capture age. I think that's a bit of a bug, yeah. Oh no, maybe not actually. No, it is. It is a bug because you can see he's got double broadaxe. Right? We saw that earlier, but it's not actually showing on the overlay, which is a bit of a shame. Hopefully stuff that like that does get updated. Quite tentative from both players. It feels like maybe it's going to be coming down to one decisive fight. But Recon has got a lot of the economy protected here behind the palisade walls. There's the deer camp. There's 2 gold veins. 3 gold veins, in fact. And I like what Recon's doing, right? Because this is the economy that mirrors what Recon has protected. And so Recon's just having a look to see if Valdemar's looking to protect it or if he's going to be venturing out to it. Having said that, there is a lot of food economy in the north. And you can see Recon just keeping a horseman there just to scout. He's actually got it on, look at that, he's actually got it on patrol. That's really a nice touch there for Recon, just to keep an eye on if Valdemar's expanding. Valdemar's going to go through the middle, though, it seems, through the gorge. The good thing is he does have a decent number of cavalry here, Recon, so should be able to catch up, but a lot of it is still infantry. The bannerman is going to be increasing the damage output for these units, an additional 15% damage. That can change the fights completely. Couple of horsemen just harassing on those berries. Might be actually to get one villager there. I actually think the villager survives. Goes behind the palisades. Does take the engagement. Snipes out one of the horsemen there on the retreat. All of a sudden, we get into that moment of the game where Valdemar's army can start to really pump out. But Castle Age coming in for Recon, that could be devastation for Japanese. If those upgrades come in, the veterancy upgrades come in for the Royal Knights, for the horsemen, for the archers there for Jeanne d'Arc, that could become a big, big problem. Feels like the Japanese quite committed to the Fusiliers now. It's a bit of a timer. I wonder if he's got siege engineering to get some rams out. And we could just use the torch damage to be fair. There's a lot of infantry here. It doesn't yet have siege engineering. And that means he's going to have to try and go the old-fashioned way of torching down buildings. Quite a few Yumi Ashigaru are going to dive that town centre. Villagers do garrison inside. And there's actually a few samurai here. I like that addition, right? Because we see the English doing that a lot. We see the HRE doing that a lot in the Field Age pressure. The hardened samurai. They're very difficult to deal with for Jeanne d'Arc. And he's going to try his best with the archers. But those samurai are gap closing. The Yumi Ashigaru are getting value as well. And don't forget, the Yumi Ashigaru are boosted up by the bannermen. It might be a chance here for Recon to try and snipe the bannerman. Uses the Holy Wrath ability. Horseman against the samurai. The samurai should rip through those horsemen, especially with the Yumi Ashigaru focus firing on them. There's the XP coming in for Jeanne d'Arc, and the trouble is it looks like Jeanne d'Arc is being focus fired by the Yumi Ashigaru. The Yumi Ashigaru should be able to kill it. Divine Restoration comes in just in time before Jeanne d'Arc does fall. But a lot of the hardened spearmen and the samurai have gone down. Mostly Yumi Ashigaru with the katana, with the Yumi bannerman. But he does now lose his army here. Defender's advantage came in clutch. Man at arms really for Jeanne d'Arc. Going to push us back, and Valdemar's going to lose a lot of his army. He's stuck in the feudal age. This is where it becomes very difficult, right? Doesn't have many in the way of static defenses. He doesn't necessarily need to... I mean, he could get to the castle age pretty quickly. Just needs to idle his production. But if he does that, he's going to lack units, right? He's going to go up against the castle age army. And those man at arms really starting to pump out. And I think there might be a couple of Jean's champions in there too. Yeah, there are. There are 3 Jean's champions. Definitely chasing that down. Yumi Ashigaru have to back away. There's no way that Valdemar takes the fight here. Recon pushing forward with the archers and the man-at-arms. That's going to be devastating to deal with. I mean, sure, Samurai might be able to hold for a little while, but if he produces a Samurai, he's not going to get to the castle edge anytime soon. Might be looking to just dive that. I mean, the thing is, good thing for the Japanese is there's no way that Recon just dives this town centre, right? It is the Daimyo Palace at this point. He's going to need a lot of rams to take care of that. But it does give now Recon a lot of breathing space. He's going for siege engineering, so should probably look to get some rams on the field. Struggling on the wood, though. Getting another stable. I could actually look to get the sacred sites for Jeanne. When she does come out again. She did die. Jeanne's champion's alive, but there is no Jeanne at the moment. Alright, well, the Japanese have had the time now to get to the next stage with the floating gate landmark. Wonder whether Recon's thinking about getting some of the relics. That could be an option. Especially considering he's got the map control at this point. But the floating gate landmark will be giving access to the Japanese Yorishiro. Maybe able to place that wherever he desires. Going to go up quickly with 20 villagers. He wants that castle edge quick. I don't blame him. Of course, Recon has had the advantage in terms of castle age for quite some time now. He's going to want to immediately upgrade his units. Does have a couple of outposts that are being bolstered up to try and defend. That push might just come in now for recon because, of course, this is the timing window he has, right? He knows his opponent's just invested in that castle age and will take some time for the upgrades to come in. He's going to get the sacred site first and maybe mass up a little bit. We shall see the samurai upgrade does come in quite quickly. He's going to be spending that Yorishiro. Where's he going to go with it? Is he going to go with the town centre? Quite possibly. It's quite common that the town centre is being used. As you can see, this will be increasing the speed of production by 25%. So villager count will start to rise. Mr. Shinto Priest, you've still got one Yorishiro to take. Please do take it. Now, the timing of this could be key. Because there's a lot of... I want to see where he goes and puts it, but we have to keep an eye on this first. Ah! Alright, we're going to have to look at the fight. Although there's no rams here for recon, so it should be okay. For Valdemar for now. Goes for the forward, so we're getting that bit of gold trickle in. See that 25, I think every 15 seconds or something. I think every 20 seconds, okay. So it's going to be getting 75 gold per minute. Going to be torching down the barracks the old-fashioned way, and then the stable. Going to be getting textiles, probably a good idea. Going to get a ram as well, and looks like recon is going to be capturing the sacred sites with the monks instead of the Jeanne d'Arc. It's got 4 relics in play already. This is looking bad for the Japanese, right? Having to play that condensed economy. Took a bad fight, I think, in that feudal age. He lost a lot of units, and now has been pinned back, and behind all that, recon's got the 4 relics. That gold income's going to skyrocket. You can see already 1,200 gold per minute, rather. And he's getting the sacred site on the west side. With all 3 sacred sites being going to be activated soon, Valdemar needs to find a way to deal with this army, but also then push out. There's a lot of arbaletiers here, there's a lot of man-at-arms. Going to be getting gambesons as well. That's going to be very difficult for Valdemar to stop. The arbaletier melee armor going to be increased by +5, and Ram's going to take out the production buildings on the east side. Looks like Valdemar going out to the economies, but take a look at this. A veteran horseman spots it. I mean, he knows there's an issue. A couple of Onnomusha coming out. The Onnomusha are going to be a nice unit against the man-at-arms, but not against the archers. The archers will take them apart very quickly. Can hold on as much as can. Recon coming in with 93 military. Japanese are going to be under pressure very quickly. Recon massing up units. Obviously had the consecrate ability on those production buildings, making them cheaper. Okay, we're taking out some of the farms, and this is devastating damage coming in for Jeanne d'Arc. And will Valdemar have enough to deal with this? Does have a mangonel, which could help. It feels like one might not be enough. Villagers might have to pop out to try and take out the ram, but that's going to be idle time caused. Mangonel does play on the rams. Does take out one ram with the infantry. The hardened samurai in good numbers. I mean, good numbers of samurai could win this. There's a decent number of crossbow there, though, for recon, but does have a mangonel. So maybe samurai, mangonel, and bannerman could be an option to deal with this. Recon just holding back for now. That gold income looking incredible for recon. He's not impatient, you've got to say that much. Recon holding back for now, just waiting. Waiting for his time to pounce. The trouble is, where does Valdemar go for gold? There's a horseman continuously patrolling here. And Valdemar's gold income is next to negligible. Has 2 mangonels, so he's going to have to push out soon, though. Looks like Recon's quite content just to defend the sacred sites. Maybe looking to get a bit of stone, maybe to get a keep in the middle. And that will be problematic for Valdemar to push, right? There's no rams, no trebuchets for him. He might be looking to take a big fight with Ilma Bannerman, leading the charge. 2 Onnomusha. Mangonel deploys on that horseman. Bit of overkill, of course. Gonna go through the middle of the map, and Recon should be prepared. This is where the game was heading towards, a big fight in the middle. And here it is on that sacred site. The Bannerman takes out the horseman. Gonna get an outpost there. Recon just for some vision. Wonder if that will go up in time. Not so sure. Now the villagers will be sniped. They're going to be pushed back now. But here's the engagement. The Mangonel's not yet there. The Bannerman goes down. Leaves the aura for 30 seconds. Mangonel does deploy now. Here's the big fight. We're expecting this fight in the middle of the map. Well, this is the big fight. The Samurai going to attack on the front lines. The Mangonel on the back. Going to take out a lot of the ranged units on the back. But there is a springald there for Recon. 2 of them, in fact. The Mangonel is going to be obsolete at this point. Does deploy and take another hit. But the man-at-arms tanking everything. Jeanne coming in from the back, just to take out a lot of the Yumi Ashigara as much as he can, and uses the Holy Wrath ability, uses the Divine Restoration. This is an army This is a fight for Jeanne d'Arc that will win this fight in the middle of the map and will win the game. Valdemar taps out Jeanne d'Arc with a dominant display in that castle age. Hope you guys enjoy the castle game. If you're watching on YouTube, give the video a thumbs up. Take care and see you next time.